there's now just one team left in orange who haven't yet got any points on the board. We want it close, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely. I just wonder from Punjab tonight that because he got that big score at the 1KD in their first game, I just wonder if the mindset of the batters was to go out and get another big score. And even when they lost 3 early wickets, still in their mind they're thinking 180, 190. Whereas they really should have gone, right, that first game, that's gone, that's banked, we've got the points. They should have really been studying last night's game where it was a little bit trickier. You know, can you get into the contest by getting 130, 135? I think if they'd have got that tonight, it could have been quite a tricky evening because the pitch was offering something. So there's a lesson for Punjab that, you know, you've got to take every game completely separately. You can't take the previous game's mindset and beliefs that, oh, that's the score we're always going to have to get to. You've just got to get the right amount of runs. And even if it's not par and beyond, it's just getting in the contest. And tonight, with the way that they batted, they just didn't get into the contest. And again, there's a lesson for Punjab and KL Rahul. Just if you bat first, just post something. Even if you're playing badly, just post something by just being a little bit smarter than they were tonight.
Yeah, I think it's something Michael mentioned in the pre-show. I asked him about, we were talking about head-to-heads, history last season, and he came clearly and said, don't believe in history. And I think that's a lesson, not just for Chennai, but for all teams. You look back at the previous day, yes, get lessons from that, but don't look back at your last game and say, okay, if we made 200 the last time out, it's our birthright to make 200 again.
Exactly, and I think when you look at the dismissals, that's the problem you'll see. I mean, balls sticking on, the kind of dismissals they had after that run out. You know, KL Rahul's run out was unfortunate, great piece of fielding, and I think Gale did that hesitation which just put off, KL Rahul. That split second was the difference. But that was bad luck. You have to say that was bad luck, and that was the genius of Ravindra Jadeja. But after that, and the first, obviously, the Mayank Agarwal's dismissal was Jaffa. But you leave those two dismissals aside, the rest of them were some things that they were easily avoidable. And that's something, see, now what's happened is they have a situation where they now have to bring in somebody like a Moises on Riggs. Because people look at them and say, you cannot do this. This is not a sustainable situation at number 7. So you have to bring in a Moises on Riggs, which means their bowling becomes less potent. And I think they've brought it upon themselves.
Mm.
Yeah, and I think, Enriques is one kind of person. It's a Marcus Stoinis kind of player you need. And on the subject of Delhi, someone needed to do a Rishabh Pant here. Play a very pugnacious little innings, stick in there, play against your nature. But at least, as you said, Michael, get them to about 130 because that is kind of runs on the board at least.
Yeah, Mr. Khan tried that innings and he played great, but they just needed something more at 7 and 8. You need better players. You need more players that are aware of the situation, can strike it obviously, but when the time requires you just to knuckle down. Jai Richardson's not a number 7. He'd probably be the first to admit that he's not, and they've just got their tactics wrong. It also looks to me like, Moses Enriques is a fantastic cricketer, and I'm pretty sure he'll do okay in the IPL, but you'd want more than one option. You'd want 3 or 4 options around the 6, 7 and 8 mark to kind of pack your batting. Do you go with an extra batter or do you go with an extra bowler? And depending on the situation of the game, the pitch, that's what you decide upon. But they don't seem to have got their squad right in that middle. At the top with the bat, they look strong. With a couple of the bowlers, they look decent. Just that middle engine room and their 3rd, 4th and 5th bowling options. That's where I think they'll come unstuck this year.